started with the we're gonna get started with the rifle genetics tutorial. So here we have our rifle. Again, if you've watched any of these videos, you know I always pick the same background because it's pretty. It's EJ here, and if you don't know who I am the co-owner of Asmundr with Kike. So I'm going to be walking through here how to do the genetics for the rifle. So I've gone to the create character section of my den. I picked my region, I picked rifle, and I picked female. So currently the genetics for the rifle and the yarrow are completely the same. That will be changing in the future. So I'm just going to go over this quickly. And once we actually have the new updated genetics for the rifle, we will be remaking this. So I'm just going to touch base on the complete black character that you see here. So these are all what appears automatically when you click on the image or the character creator. So you have lowercase aa, you have capital KK. Those both create a solid black character that you see here. And if you select lowercase ee, it's going to take out all the black pigment and it's going to make a red character. Now I want to be very clear here that the only markings that will appear on these characters are white markings because white is dominant over everything and will appear on top. So you need to actually change it to get the character that you want to change if you don't want a black character or a completely black character. So I'm going to get rid of the capital K, put it down to lowercase, going to put it to EE, which takes out the red pigment. And we're going to play with the agouti series here. So if you take a look here, this is the one part where it does have different genetics than the yarrow, because we don't have agouti here, despite it being the agouti series. So we have AS. So AS stands for saddle. So you see here that it is changed to a red character with a black saddle. So the first AS means that visually that is what your character has. The second one means it can also pass down that gene. So the first one can also be passed down, but the second one here isn't visible. So if we click to ASAT, you have a saddle character still, but the offspring could also have the possibility of having points, which is AT. So AS is points, AS is saddle, AT is points. So you see that switch over here, black dog, red points. And AR is reverse points. So I'm going to leave it for saddle for this one. And now we're going to get over to the liver and dilution series. So liver and dilute, if it's capital letters, it's going to be that there's no dilution, no liver whatsoever in those characters. So lowercase bb is going to give you your liver character. So that's going to get rid of the black pigment and change it to the liver color. And if you also change the dilution down to lowercase dd with the lowercase bb, it's going to give you Isabella. So you see that change there. Now if you get rid of the liver and just leave the lowercase dd, it's going to give you blue. So you can kind of play around with those. I'm going to get rid of them for now and just have a regular black base dog with the red points. So if we look at the E series, again, you can change it to a recessive red, which is going to get rid of all those. And again, it's only going to show white. Or you can click EM, and that's going to give you your mask, and that's also going to bring back your saddle. So I'm going to leave the mask here. And then we're going to get over to our intensity series. So IR is what you have standard. So that means that you're going to have a red dog or red markings. If you change it to IW, you're going to get tan. It's going to put the red and the white, which is IW, together to make that tan color. IT is also going to give you tan. ITIW is going to give you cream, which is just a little bit different than the tan itself. And IWIW is going to give you white or silver in this case. It kind of looks similar too. So I'm going to pick the tan for this tutorial. I'll just quickly show you the difference here. So it's just a subtle difference between the tan and the cream. Now I'm going to leave this one here alone for a second until we get down to the wild markings, because that's going to be when it comes into play. Because if I just change that to the capital KK right now in the dominant black series, you're going to get that dominant black color back. So I'll put that down to lower KK, and we're going to head over to the Nyala series. So the Nyala series is your fallow spots and your Nyala stripe. So capital NN, that's going to have no visual effect. Anything with a capital N here is going to have no visual effect, but you're going to have the possibility of either passing down Nyala stripe or the fallow spots. So lowercase NYNY is going to give you your Nyala stripes. So that's these white markings here going down the back. And NFNF is going to give you your fallow spots. So I'm going to leave the fallow spots on for this one. And of course, you don't want those. Go back to capital NN. You'll have a regular character without those white spots or the white stripes. So moving on to caribou markings, we have two. We have caribou back and we have caribou stripe. So caribou back is going to give you a white marking along the chest, the neck, and this stripe here along the shoulder. You can also do caribou back and caribou stripe at the same time. It's going to be a bit difficult to see with the black saddle, so I'm going to change it to points. Oh, no, not points. We're going to change that to reverse points, actually. So there you can see that black stripe there. That is the caribou stripe. And if you just want to have the caribou stripe, you can get rid of the caribou back and you'll see the stripe right there. I'm going to leave that off for now, and I'm going to bring back the saddle. So now we're going to talk about the wild markings. So the wild markings, to see them, you actually have to have capital K selected. So that means that only the wild markings and only the white markings are going to show. So you're going to see the mask go away, but you're going to see the fallow spots stay. So here we have our king character. I have WK selected. Again, the fallow spots have stayed. The mask has gone away. Because the king marking and anything under the wild marking, that is a full-bodied marking. So it's going to cover up everything except the white. So of course here you're going to have your modifiers or your other locuses, which is WK, WC. So it's just going to pass on the other ones. So WB1, that's wildebeest. WB2 is wildebeest 2. And WC is caribou. So if you change that down to WC, you're going to have the caribou marking. And you're going to have the fallow spots, of course, stay. Wildebeest 1, you're going to have that change again. And wildebeest 2. So those there are pretty straightforward. I'm going to leave them off for now so we can test out the rest of the markings. So now we have lowercase k selected. You still can have these here selected. It will just pass on to the offspring, depending on whether or not the K shows. So the next one I'm going to show you here is the leopard spots. So these have been really popular with the Leofers and the Yarrows. So capital L, that's going to mean nothing's happening. So you actually have to go down to LH to see these markings. So now we have the head spots. So that means it's just head spots all by itself. If we pick LH, you're going to get head spots and body spots. Now because here we have the saddle, you're not going to be able to see the full body spots, and spots can't appear over white because, as we said before, white appears on top of everything. So you can just see it down here on the belly. And then we have LH, LG, so head spots, leg spots. And of course, LH, LT, which is a little bit of the tail spots here because you can't see because of the black saddle, and the head spots. And if you go down to the very bottom and select LF, LF, it gives you full body spots. So head, legs, tail, body, or back. So I'm going to leave those full spots on, and we're going to get over to the tail marking. So the tail marking is the, let me see here, the dole tail and the impala tail. So right now I have RI selected, which is going to give you the impala tail. So that is going to give you a black tail with a black stripe down the thigh. And then if we select RD, you're going to see that stripe disappear here, but you're still going to see a black tail. So this is dole tail. And RE is reverse dole tail. So again, no black stripe here, but you're going to see a white tail. So I'm actually going to give it the impala tail. So we're going to have a black tail, and we're going to have that black stripe down the thigh. And if you look closely, you can actually see that you can see a little bit of the spots where the bottom of the tail is a bit lighter than the rest of the black. So you can see a little bit of those spots shine through. And we have the white spotting series. So SS capital, that's not going to have any more white. That just means that there's no white spotting. If you go to capital S, lowercase si, you're going to get a little white speck here on the chest and a little bit here on these toes. Now, lowercase si, that is going to give you a white blaze along the muzzle, stripe down the chest, the two front legs, the paws, and a white tip on the tail despite having the dole tail, or the impala tail, sorry. So we're going to leave that there. And the last marking that we're going to look at is the undersides. So undersides is the exact same as the yarrow. So you have UBW, which is going to be your white belly. So that fits in nicely with the white spotting because you can have that white belly right here. And we also have the reverse of it. We have black belly. And that white marking turns to a black marking. We also have the underside marking here, which is capital UU. And that is going to take the base color and make it so that it covers the underside from the chest all the way back to the tail, the belly, the legs, and make them black, or whatever base color it is. So if we switch that to blue, you're going to see the saddle and the undersides switch to blue as well. So we're just going to switch that back here. And last but not least, we're going to take a look at the eye marking. So the eye marking, capital EY, that automatically is going to give you a brown eye. If you switch to EYA, that's going to give you amber. EYB is going to give you blue. EYH is going to give you hazel. And EYW is going to give you white. So we're going to leave that one at white here. And you scroll down and you can name your character. So I'm just going to name it Rifle Test. And you can click left on the character and a little pop-up box is going to say, are you sure you want to create this character? You click OK or cancel, depending on if you want to keep working on the character. So that's everything so far for the rifle. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask them on asmundr.com in the forum. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully you get to create the character that you want.